Welcome to a new segment of the channel where I will discuss books and their film adaptations. Today, I'll be discussing Holes by Louis Sachar. Yes, this book was very popular when I was in grade school, and honestly, one of my personal favorites. It won the Newbery Medal, the National Book Award, and several others in 1998. The book was originally supposed to be titled Wrong Place, Wrong Time, Wrong Kid, but I like the one-word title better. More snappy. The plot centers around Stanley Yelnats III, who goes to Camp Green Lake, which is basically Juvie, but it's in the middle of the desert. He goes because he is wrongly accused of stealing a baseball player's named Sweet Feet's shoes from an orphanage. The story is intertwined with the present-day 19th century Latvia, which is mostly about his no-good, dirty, rotten pig stealing great-great-grandfather, and how he started the Yelnats curse. The town of Green Lake, before it ran dry, which involves this origin story of Kissin Barlow. In the present-day storyline, it centers mostly around Stanley and the camp and discovering its secrets. Why are they digging holes? What are they looking for? Also the friendships he forms with the other boys. Specifically Zero, who was known not to talk much until Stanley came along. The 19th century Latvia storyline is about his great-great-grandfather's story about how he's in love with a woman and wanting to win her heart. He seeks the advice of Madame Zeroni, who tells him to carry a piglet over the mountain to drink water while he sings to it. She then says on the last day after he carries the piglet to do the same for Madame Zeroni. If he doesn't, his family would be cursed for always in eternity. He does not follow said directions, and tries to compete the pig with the other suitor of the woman he loves, who also has a pig. Sadly, both pigs weigh the same, so he ends up giving up and leaves for America. Oh, and he forgets to take Madame Zeroni up the mountain. Whoops. The third story is the origin story of Kissin Barlow. She was a school teacher in Green Lake before it dried up and became Camp Green Lake. She falls in love with the onion salesman named Sam, who's African-American. Can you see this where this is going? He mostly helps her around with repairing the schoolhouse and such. She's also constantly getting hit on by Charles Trout Walker, one of her adult students, and constantly turns him down. Yeah, who would date someone named Trout? I don't blame you, honey. And one night, Kate and Sam kiss, and Trout catches them. He ends up having the town burn the schoolhouse and then murdering Sam. And this causes her to become the outlaw, Kissin Barlow, and she ends up crossing paths with Stanley Yelnats I of robbing his fortune, but leaves him in the desert. That's the gist of it. For a children's novel, it's a great read. It still holds up whenever I feel the need to reread it. Truly, it's timeless and a classic. And eventually, the book was made into a film produced by Walden Media and distributed by Disney. It was released in 2003. It did well at the box office, but no one really seems to talk about it much. Like, yeah, that happened. Was it bad? No, far from it. Weird that I begin this segment with a positive review of a film adaptation of a novel, but hey, it's a good place to start. It was around this time when I was reading more, and I had quite a few friends who whined when they saw the trailer for Holes. Who hasn't? Mostly complaining about how Shia LaBeouf was cast. In the book, Stanley is described as overweight, lot of zits, just a not attractive kid. But you know what? I can forgive it. LaBeouf does a good job in this. I'm sorry, were you booing at me because I said something positive about LaBeouf? No, really, LaBeouf does a great job at portraying Stanley, even if he doesn't look the part. Or at least in body mass. And this was before he made questionable decisions. Bro, are you okay? Is this what happens after you make a movie with Lars von Trier? Moving on. The casting is one of the best decisions in this film. I like how they chose veteran actors as the adult characters. The best ones being Patricia Arquette as Kissin Barlow and Sigourney Weaver as the warden. I also really like that for the child actors, they picked less well-known kids and their portrayals are great. They do a bit of slang, but it's nothing dated. Most importantly, they are kids, which surprisingly isn't done that well in a lot of films today, and even more so in film adaptations for children's books. They usually tend to dumb down the kids or make the kids sound too much like adults, and they don't change their personalities. The filmmakers could have easily made all those boys jerks and bullies, but no, they don't. They keep true to the source material. The best part of the film is the fact that it stays true to that source material. It's like everyone on set got a copy of the book and read it and adapted it, like you're supposed to do with film adaptations of novels. Oh wait, who wrote this? That was nice of them to give the author creative responsibility. Although lately there has been more openness with Hollywood and authors and their source materials. Sort of. If there was anything I wanted to complain about this adaptation, it has nothing to do how it's straight from the book, but more so filmmaking-wise. The ending can get a little staccato and weird dissolves here and there. Transitions, you know. But mostly with the film, they even added scenes that were mentioned in the book briefly to show us what's going on, mostly with, big plot points that I would rather not reveal. They actually deleted a few scenes, probably not to make it too long. And one of them is a quick scene of how Stanley was bullied in school, and honestly, it was better off without it. I mean, you're in juvie, what more do you want to know? Stanley's pretty well established in the movie, so you can just tell from the first few scenes with him in the movie that he doesn't have the best luck with things. He's going to juvie, for God's sakes. Overall, it's one of the best book-to-film adaptations that I have seen. I would recommend reading the book first and then watching the movie. But if you've read the book, watch the movie. No, seriously, watch the movie. You'd be surprised how good it is at adapting, as I just said. Did you watch the film? Read the book. Do a book thing. Yeah. As I said, it's not dated at all. It's on Netflix Instant. You can watch it right now. Let's take a look. I mean, look at it. It's not dated at all.
Oh, that's what we're doing. We're singing. Y'all don't know about that. Watch me.
Okay, maybe that thing at the end is a little dated.
Two suits, two tokens in hand. I got no respect cause I'm the new man. Got my shovel, shoes full of sand. Check out the tag, the name's Caveman.